Now that we have done with serial test, what I'll try to do now is I will try to create a serial read program. Now I'll get started with some basics. Let's serial.begin 9600. We'll just have a delay a bit larger because we take time to open the serial port. So it's better if we have a bit larger delay. Then what we'll do is we'll try to do this. Now I want to read from serial port. So before I directly read from serial port, let me tell you how it works. So whenever you send something to the microcontroller, it is stored in its serial buffer. Buffer is kind of a temporary storage which holds whatever data is coming to the serial port. Usually the buffer size depends on the board you have, but a very common factor or a very common number for the serial buffer of Arduino is 64 bytes or 128 bytes and 256 bytes. These are some of the common numbers. You can go into the libraries to understand about them, but to get started, we don't need to worry about it. When time comes, I'll tell you about it. So the thing is, data is first received into this buffer, and then only you can use serial.read in order to read this data. And if you don't have anything to read, then you will probably end up reading blank values because there is nothing in the buffer. So therefore, in order to understand if the data is received or not, we need to have a function. That function is serial.available. So serial.available is the function and it returns the number of bytes ready for reading. Okay. So if that is the case, then how do you use it? Using is very simple actually. So if serial.available is greater than 0, what it means, even if a single character is ready, then this if condition is true and will be executed. So if serial.available is greater than 0, then what we want to do is we need some variable to store this. So let's say int a is equal to serial.read. Okay. So we read it in serial.read using serial.read function into variable called a, and then what? We'll try to print it back to the computer. Now, you have to understand that when you enter something from the computer, you have always entered ASCII code. Even if you have entered 0, it means you are sending 48 and so on. Therefore, if I have to print it back to the computer, I should not use serial.print function and instead I should use serial.write function. Before I send it to PC, what I'll do is I'll take a delay and then I'll do what? Serial.print a, the same one. And then what I'll do is serial.println and a blank line. I'm sorry, I used print here. It should be serial.write as mentioned. So whenever something is received, after 3 seconds, the same byte will be sent back to the PC. Let's see how it works. Let's upload this code for now. And once the uploading is done, we'll try to see how it works. If you want, you can also do some hello, welcome or something here which will indicate that the program has started. The biggest advantage of serial communication, apart from the usage for serial communication actual, is debugging. So you see, when you go into creating advanced Arduino advanced embedded systems, many times you will find a need that you don't know a particular piece of code is being executed or not. You don't know if you have written some commands to read something from somewhere and you don't know whether it has been received or not. So in those places, we use the serial print function as a debugging tool. We'll just print, let's say, hello, okay, I came up to here, I came up to there in your code in multiple places. This will help you a lot in your further experimentation. So the code is downloaded. Let's open the serial monitor and let's try to print something. So let me first give capital A over here. So I have typed capital A and I'll just click on the send button. 1, 2, 3. After 3 seconds, we got the capital A back. Let me put 0 here and send 1, 2, 3. And we got 0 over here. So this is how you read from serial put and you write it back. If you want to be a bit more experimental with what you do, then you simply do serial.write a plus 1. Now in this way what will happen is, if you have given 0, you'll receive 1. If you have given capital A, you'll receive capital B. If you have given small c, then you will receive small d, and so on. So these are the most common functions, most common ones which are used for serial communication. And to get started, this is enough. Now let me give, let's say, capital D, and then after 3 seconds, 1, 2, 3. After 3 seconds, we're supposed to get capital E. Whatever you pass, if I give 1, and then after 3 seconds, I'm supposed to get something else. When you give this send button, then what happens is you also send a new line character from computer, and therefore addition 1 to that is also received, which is why you are seeing this box. I'll give 5 here. I have removed this auto scroll option. Let's see. We got 6, and we got 6 only. If you notice now, what is happening is we are not sending an additional new line from computer with this auto scroll, and therefore we are just receiving the single byte. So this is the bare minimum that you are going to need with serial communication as we go forward. But that's not the end of the story. It's basically just getting started. So if you just go to Arduino help and reference over here, a web page will be open to you which shows all the Arduino functions, everything over here. Now what we want to do is, we don't want to go into all of these things. What we want to do is, we want to understand in detail about what is serial library and what are the parts of it. So serial. Now you can see the function list here. So if serial available, available for write, begin, end, find until, flush, parse float, parse end, peek, print, println, read bytes until. Lot of different functions are there. We will use these functions as the time comes. For example, if you have to use this parse int function, then you just click on that and you read the documentation. Looks for the next valid integer in the incoming serial. The function terminate if it times out. So serial.parseInt inherits from some class, and you see all the documentation will be written over here. As and when time comes, we'll see all these different functions with serial communication. You can also do device control over here by checking what is the value of this A, and maybe turn on something, turn off something, and things like that. So I guess that's a good starting point for you with serial communication. We'll get started and we'll come back to serial communication time to time as we progress through the course. Thank you for watching this video.